Greetings, everyone. It is Friday. It is September 24th. I think this is coming close to being the last Friday in September. Boy, that is hard to believe. But my favorite month is next month, which is October. So we've got something to look forward to. And today was a really good fall day. Nice and nippy and just felt really good like fall. So I know that just about every one of y'all participated in the town hall yesterday. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that Dr. Kelly was successful in answering a lot of your questions. I've gotten a lot of feedback from many of you that you really appreciated her presentation and that it really helped answer some of your questions and even your concerns. We have made a recording of her session and because it was done on Zoom, and as soon as we can uh, be able to do this, it was a pretty large recording. We are going to post it onto the Care South Carolina YouTube channel. So you'll be getting an email from Amanda and her team about what that YouTube connection will be, and you'll be able to kind of go back through that. It was a lot of information to take in, I know, and you'll have the PowerPoint, which I've already sent out. So you'll be able to really do a deep dive into that, which I really do hope you will. Last night also was a regularly scheduled board of directors meeting. We meet every fourth Thursday. That meeting was held by Zoom. For a few of the last months, we've been able to meet and feel comfortable meeting in person. Uh, but frankly, at this point, even though the board of directors is 100% vaccinated, it was felt at this time with the transmission rates and the low vaccination rates among our communities that it was just safest and best to meet via Zoom. Via Zoom is not an easy thing to do. As y'all might have learned yesterday, I'm not quite the best person at doing Zoom. I've got a lot to learn, but we did our best. And it was a very important meeting for two reasons. I have spoken of this before. OSHA implemented its emergency temporary standards, OSHA ETS, and all of those policies that are relevant to those requirements were reviewed and approved by the board. It was quite a bit, and it took quite a bit of review and discussion amongst the board. Those policies had been drafted by our employment attorney. So they were really quite uh, specific in being compliant with the OSHA standards. Those policies are being published on Power DMS. You will be required to review them and to sign off on them that you have reviewed them. One of the policies addresses training that we are required to provide to everyone regarding COVID. And we made a pretty big step toward accomplishing that just yesterday with our town hall meeting with Dr. Kelly because she did a darn good training. The second policy that the board took under consideration and reviewed was a policy that they have been waiting for, frankly, candidly, over the last several months. The board has been very concerned about our own employee vaccination. Uh, we've had a lot of discussions in the board around this requirement, health requirement for continued employment. We've had an awful lot of discussion. They've been concerned about uh, those employees who are caring for patients, in many cases, directly caring for patients who are not vaccinated. They are concerned about their own risk within their communities, uh, that our own staff could be spreading COVID. Now, even though we are pretty confident that the staff that are uh, unfortunately getting positive from COVID are probably, and we're pretty confident on this, are acquiring the coronavirus from the community from outside of CareSouth, because we've taken some pretty stringent steps internally to assure the safety and well-being of our patients, masking. We're very, very careful around assuring that employees don't come to work sick, and if they do, that testing is available. So we're pretty confident around that, but the board still had a lot of concern over the vaccination, especially in light of the September 9th press release that came out of the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS. You may recall that CMS is the agency in the HHS, in the Department of Health and Human Services, that governs Medicare and Medicaid regulations and Medicare and Medicaid payments. You should all know that Medicare and Medicaid payments are extremely important to us. Frankly, CARE South Carolina would not be able to exist in its current configurations. We might could have one site that could remain open if we didn't have the Medicare and Medicaid payments. So when they issued their guidelines on September 9th, it became very apparent that this was something that CARE South, as will all other healthcare facilities, have to take very seriously. Because what their announcement said was that they were going to be mandating the vaccination for all healthcare entities that received Medicare and Medicaid payments. Now, they had already required this for nursing homes, but they expanded this, and FQHCs were specifically listed in that list. So, pretty big issue. But the number two issue that the board has really been very concerned about, as have those of us in management, and that is the safety and well being of ourselves and our patients. You know, this week has been a very, very difficult week as we lost one of our own employees. And I spoke to many of y'all already on this. Um, we lost an employee to COVID. That drives home even more the imperative that we do everything in our power to assure the safety and well-being of you, our employees, and our patients, and ultimately the communities we serve. For that reason, the board approved a policy HR 0200 that makes it a requirement for healthcare employees, all of our employees. It is a standard, it is a healthcare condition requirement for employment that the COVID 19 vaccine be fully vaccinated. Let me repeat that because I got a little tongue tied there. So, as a condition of employment in our healthcare guidelines, as we've done before in the past, flu vaccination is an example of that. As a condition of employment, all employees of CARE South Carolina will have to be fully vaccinated by December 31st, 2021, or have an approved medical or religious exemption. Now, I'm going to print out, well, I'm going to provide y'all with some of the guidelines that go into a lot more detail on this so that you can read them, question them, understand them. What does all of this mean? How do I go about it? What do I do? When do I do it? There's a lot of the decisions that individually you will be having to make. When to get your vaccination in order to be fully vaccinated by December 31st is an example. when to make sure that if you do have a bona fide medical or religious exemption, when do you make that application in order that you have it in hand approved by December 31st? There will be a lot of things that you will have to consider as an employee. So these guidelines will be attached to my email that goes out with the connection to YouTube with this video. Take this as an opportunity to look at them. We know that there will be questions raised, and maybe we haven't thought of everything, probably not. So give us those questions and let us review these. It is a little over 3 months until December 31st, 2021. But some decisions have to be made sooner rather than later. And I really urge you to go ahead and begin making these decisions, to begin raising any questions that you have. And remember, Dr. Kelly is also available. If you have further questions after her presentation, we can get them to her. You don't have to just take our word for things. But we will do everything in our power to get your questions answered and to make sure that you and your interests are met. But more importantly, that the safety and well-being of your coworkers and the patients that you serve are foremost and always in the best interest. Thank you, y'all. Stay safe. Enjoy this fall weekend. It is still going to be a pleasant one, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty dry one. Above all, I really mean what I said. Stay safe. It was a very tough week this week with the news about the death of Jessica Fling. Let's hope that we start Monday with a breath of fresh and renewed energy and vigor and safety in our sights, with each other, and with our families and our communities. Take care. Bye bye.